You have goals. You have ambitions. You keep chasing the next thing, the next upgrade, the next achievement, the next moment that might finally make you feel complete. But somehow, the closer you get to the Dunya, the further your heart feels from peace. And maybe you haven't said it out loud, but deep inside, you know. Your soul is tired, not from working hard, but from running in the wrong direction. Because the Dunya promises excitement, but delivers exhaustion. It promises happiness, but leaves a hollowness you can't explain. It promises fulfillment, but gives you a heart that keeps whispering, "There must be more than this." And there is. The emptiness you feel is not a failure. It's a sign. A sign that you've given the Dunya a place it was never meant to have, and your soul is begging you to realign before the world consumes you completely. So today, let's talk about the spiritual emptiness that comes from chasing the Dunya more than the Akhirah, and how to break free from it before it shapes your entire life. The truth is, the Dunya was never designed to satisfy a believer's heart. It was designed to test you, distract you, reveal you, expose what you truly depend on. And the most dangerous moment in a believer's life is not when they fall into a sin, but when their heart starts to prefer the Dunya without them even realizing it. Because it never happens suddenly. It happens quietly. A little less Quran today, a little less thicker tomorrow, a little more comfort, a little more attachment, a little more reaching for the world and a little less reaching for Allah. And before you know it, you're doing the same things, living the same routine, speaking the same words, but your heart isn't alive anymore. You pray, but it's rushed. You do good, but it feels empty. You hear reminders, but nothing moves you the way it used to. Your faith didn't die in one moment. It faded the way the sun fades at sunset, slowly, quietly, almost unnoticeably. Ibn al-Qayyim said, "The heart was created to travel toward Allah, and it will never find rest until it reaches Him. And when the heart starts traveling toward the Dunya instead, there is only one result, a spiritual emptiness that becomes impossible to ignore. You can have money, attention, followers, intelligence, beauty, productivity, and still feel a sadness sitting deep inside your chest. A sadness that does not respond to accomplishments, applause, or even the people you love, because this sadness is not emotional, it's spiritual. It's a reminder that the Dunya is not your home, and your heart knows it, even if your lifestyle doesn't. So today, I want to take you on a journey, not to shame you, not to scare you, but to show you exactly why the Dunya drains you, and exactly how to return to a life where your soul finally breathes again. A life where Allah is your priority, Jannah is your destination, and the Dunya becomes what it was always meant to be, a temporary stop, not the home of your heart. Let's go deeper. There comes a moment in every believer's life where the Dunya becomes so loud that it drowns out the quiet voice of their soul. Not because you're a bad Muslim, not because you don't love Allah, because the Dunya is designed to pull you with noise, and the Akhirah calls you with silence. The Dunya shouts, "Look at me, chase me, don't fall behind." The Akhirah whispers, "Return." And most people respond to the voice they hear more often. Ibn al-Qayyim said something remarkable. The heart becomes sick when it is filled with what it was never created to hold. Think about that. We fill our hearts with deadlines, notifications, pressure, comparison, fear of missing out,
fear of not achieving enough, fear of not becoming someone important. But the heart wasn't created for any of these things. And when you give the heart what does not belong inside it, it reacts. Not with a scream, but with emptiness. The signs of a heart overwhelmed by the dunya. The signs are subtle, but unmistakable. You scroll longer, but feel less satisfied. You achieve more, but feel less fulfilled. You upgrade your life, but downgrade your inner peace. You laugh with people, yet feel strangely alone inside. You look successful from the outside, but feel spiritually dry on the inside. It's not depression. It's not laziness. It's not a personality flaw. It's your heart quietly saying, I am hungry, but you're feeding me the wrong things. You can stop eating for a day. Your body will become weak. You can stop giving your soul remembrance of Allah, and your entire life becomes heavy. Not because life is bad, but because the soul is starving. And the most painful part is people try to fix spiritual hunger with worldly food. They try distractions, entertainment, shopping, relationships, ambition, excitement. But the dunya can only refresh the eyes, never the heart. You know why? Because the dunya gives pleasure, but only Allah gives peace. The heart needs what the dunya cannot provide. Imagine pouring water into a phone. It will not function, not because water is bad, but because the phone was not designed for water. Your heart does the same thing. You pour money into it, it malfunctions. You pour status into it, it malfunctions. You pour people into it, it malfunctions. Your heart does not reject the dunya because the dunya is evil. It rejects the dunya because the heart was never created to depend on anything except Allah. And when the heart forgets this truth, emptiness becomes your companion. Not as a punishment, but as a mercy. Because the emptiness is Allah's way of telling you, you're depending on the wrong things. Come back before the wrong things break you. The most dangerous shift in a believer's life is not a sudden sin, it's a silent replacement. Not when you stop praying, but when you pray on time, yet your heart is somewhere else. Not when you leave the Qur'an, but when you read it mechanically without tasting its sweetness. Not when you forget Allah, but when you remember Him without feeling anything inside. This slow shift doesn't come with warning signs. It comes with comfort. Because the dunya doesn't pull you with evil things. It pulls you with ordinary things. Things that look harmless. Things that seem normal. Things everyone else is doing. You don't wake up one day and say, I love the dunya more than Allah. It happens gently, silently, almost beautifully. The dunya distracts you. It begins when your free time is filled with everything except what nourishes your soul. You tell yourself, I'll read Qur'an later. I'll make dhikr when I'm done. I'll make prayer properly once things calm down. I'll fix my heart when life is less busy. But life never becomes less busy because the dunya never stops demanding. Ibn al-Qayyim described this perfectly. The heart will never open to the truth if it is full of noise. Not haram noise, just noise. Chatter, scrolling, comparisons, entertainment, pressure, people. Each small distraction becomes a thread. One thread won't trap you, but 100 will. The next stage is comfort. You begin to like the dunya more than before, not because you love it, but because it feels easier. The dunya rewards you quickly. Likes, money, attention, instant dopamine, instant validation, instant escape. Spiritual things don't reward you instantly. They reward you deeply, but not instantly. So without realizing it, you choose the dunya more often, not out of rebellion, but convenience. But every convenience carries a cost.
A prayer done in a rush steals something from your heart. A day without Qur'an takes something subtle away. A week with no vicar hardens a layer of the soul. A life full of distractions slowly dims your spiritual eyesight. And then something terrifying happens. The dunya feeds you, but never fills you. At this stage, life looks fine from the outside. You're functioning, you're productive, you're achieving, you're keeping up with life. But inside, you feel a strange emptiness. Not sadness, not depression, not hopelessness, just emptiness. A silent dryness, a heaviness that nothing in the dunya seems able to remove. You go to bed tired, you wake up tired, you live tired. Not because your schedule is hard, but because your heart is unnourished. Ibn al-Qayyim wrote, "When the heart turns away from Allah, the world becomes a prison. Your life might look full, but your heart feels imprisoned. You have blessings, but don't feel blessed. You have comfort, but no tranquility. You have people, but no connection. You have opportunities, but no spiritual direction." That's the moment you realize the dunya can entertain you, but only Allah can nourish you. This is the final and scariest stage. Not when you sin, not when you fall, but when you get used to living without feeling close to Allah. When you stop missing the sweetness of faith. When you stop longing for Qur'an. When you stop feeling pain over your spiritual state. This is the numbness Ibn al-Qayyim warned about. A dead heart feels no pain. It's not that you don't care anymore. It's that you've been spiritually dehydrated for so long, your soul has learned how to survive without water. But the emptiness doesn't go away, it grows. Until one day, in a moment of distress, heartbreak, loss, or fear, you suddenly realize you've been leaning on the dunya, and the dunya cannot catch you. And in that moment of collapse, your heart whispers the truth it had forgotten. I need Allah more than everything I've been chasing. That awakening, that realization, that emotional earthquake inside you is mercy, pure mercy. The emptiness you feel is not Allah pushing you away. It is Allah pulling you back. One of the most beautiful things about Allah is this. Even when you forget Him, He never forgets you. Even when the dunya distracts you, even when your heart drifts, even when your soul becomes dry, Allah does not abandon you. He calls you back gently, wisely, perfectly, in ways that speak directly to your heart. But His call doesn't always come with blessings. Sometimes it comes with discomfort. Sometimes with moments that shake you. Sometimes with situations that force you to pause. Sometimes with feelings you can't ignore. Ibn al-Qayyim said, "When Allah wants good for a servant, He shows him the reality of the dunya." But how does Allah show this reality? How does He call you back? Let's go through the ways, and you will recognize some of them in your own life. 1. Allah calls you back through emptiness. If you've ever noticed that something used to bother you, but now it doesn't, or entertainment used to feel fun, but now it feels hollow, or the things you used to chase don't feel as satisfying anymore. This is not spiritual failure. This is spiritual awakening. Allah removes the sweetness of the dunya from your heart so you no longer mistake it for your true purpose. He allows the dunya to feel empty so you start searching for the one who can truly fill you. This emptiness you feel is not a curse. It is a sign, a beautiful, divine sign. 2. Allah calls you back through difficulty. Sometimes Allah pulls you back through hardship, a closed door, a disappointment, a failure you didn't expect, a heartbreak you didn't see coming. These moments feel painful, but they are actually rescue missions, because hardships force the heart to remember what comfort makes it forget. There is no power or might except through Allah. When life hits you, you naturally run to the one who never lets go. The pain is not punishment, it is direction.
A divine redirection back to the path your soul was created for. Ibn al-Qayyim said, "If life breaks your heart, know that Allah is returning it to Him." And what better place for a heart to be than with its Creator? 3. Allah calls you back through longing. There are moments in life when your heart suddenly misses something. You miss praying with peace. You miss making dua with tears. You miss the serenity after Fajr. You miss the softness you once had. You miss Allah, even if you don't say it out loud. This longing is not from you. It is Allah placing a subtle pull inside your heart, like a magnet returning to its source. Your soul recognizes the voice of its Creator, even when you haven't been listening. This longing is mercy. Actual, personal, divine mercy, directed specifically at you. 4. Allah calls you back through people. Sometimes Allah sends reminders through someone who says something at the right moment. A friend, a parent, a stranger, a lecture, a video, a verse you randomly open, a post you didn't expect to see, and suddenly it hits you. You feel exposed. You feel spoken to. You feel seen, not by the person, but by Allah, because the reminder was never from them. It was from Him, delivered through them. 5. Allah calls you back through beauty. One of the gentlest ways Allah wakes the heart is through moments of beauty that make you think. The quiet after rain, a soft breeze, a glowing sunset, the stillness of Fajr, the peace of the masjid, the sound of Quran touching you in a way it hasn't in months. These moments don't just happen. They are invitations. Allah uses beauty to whisper into your soul, "I am still here. Come back to me." 6. Allah calls you back through restlessness. This is the most misunderstood one. You pray, but you don't feel fulfilled. You worship, but you feel distant. You remember Allah, but the sweetness hasn't returned. And you wonder, is Allah displeased with me? No, this restlessness is not rejection. It is purification. Allah is removing the attachments that block your heart from Him. He is washing the rust from your soul. He is preparing you to taste faith again with a deeper sweetness than before. Sometimes Allah delays the sweetness so you don't take it for granted again. This restlessness means your heart is waking up, not dying. 7. Allah calls you back through guidance you didn't ask for. There are times when Allah gives you the strength to change even when you didn't seek it. You suddenly stop a sin you couldn't leave for years. You suddenly feel motivated to do good. You suddenly find yourself drawn to prayer, zikr, Quran, learning, reflection. This isn't self-discipline. This is divine assistance. Allah wants you. Allah chooses you. Allah pulls you. And when Allah pulls a heart, that heart cannot resist, even if it tried. The sweetest truth. When you come back to Allah, it's not because you suddenly decided to be good. It's because He decided to bring you close, because He loves you, because He wants you to gain the benefit of this world and the next. You may have forgotten Him for a while, but He never, not for a single moment, forgot you. The emptiness you feel, the restlessness inside, the silent dissatisfaction, all of it can be healed. Not instantly, not magically, but surely if you take the steps Allah has placed in the Quran, Sunnah, and the wisdom of the scholars. Ibn al-Qayyim explains, "The cure of the heart is not by abandoning the world, but by loving Allah more than it, and by turning to Him sincerely in every condition." Let's break this down. First, be honest with yourself. What are you chasing? What do you depend on for comfort? What fills your time but leaves your heart empty? The dunya itself isn't evil. It's a tool, a means. But it becomes dangerous when it replaces Allah in your heart. Awareness is the first step. You cannot fix what you do not see. Ask yourself daily, am I seeking Allah in everything, or am I seeking the dunya more than Him? Reclaim your heart through zikr and prayer. A starving heart needs nourishment, and its food is remembrance of Allah. Make your zikr intentional. Make your salah heartfelt. Recite Quran not just with your tongue, but with your heart. Ibn al-Qayyim wrote, "The tongue moist with the remembrance of Allah keeps the heart alive." This is not ritual for the sake of ritual. This is life itself returning to the soul. Even 5 minutes a day of deep, intentional zikr will begin to reconnect your heart. Even one sincere prostration of du'a with tears can bring a peace the dunya could never give. 3. Detach without rejecting the dunya. The world is a test, not your home. You don't have to abandon everything you love. You don't have to stop working, learning, or enjoying blessings. But you must prioritize the heart over the distraction. Work for the dunya, but work for Allah first. Enjoy the world, but do not depend on it for peace.
Use social media, technology, friends, comfort, but do not let them replace the Quran and zikr. This balance is what brings freedom. 4. Reflect daily on the Akhirah. One of the strongest antidotes for dunya obsession is perspective. Ask yourself, will this matter in the Akhirah? Am I living to impress others or to please Allah? Will this investment in the dunya bring me real peace? Ibn al-Qayyim emphasized, the heart cannot taste sweetness until it detaches from that which is temporary. When you internalize the Akhirah, every decision becomes lighter.
Every heartbreak becomes a lesson. Every failure becomes a blessing. Because the heart is no longer empty. It is filled with a direction, a purpose, a destination. 5. Seek moments of solitude and silence. The dunya is loud. It constantly distracts, entertains, and pressures you. But the soul speaks in silence. Take time for quiet reflection. Before Fajr or after Isha, in the masjid, in nature, in your room, away from noise. These moments allow your heart to feel again, to hear Allah, and to reconnect with your soul's true source. 6. Replace fear and anxiety with tawakkul. A heart that depends on the dunya lives in fear. Fear of loss, fear of failure, fear of missing out. A heart that depends on Allah lives in trust. Trust that He will provide. Trust that He will guide. Trust that He knows what is best. Ibn al-Qayyim said, "He who puts his affairs in Allah's hands will never be disappointed." Practice saying, "Hasbi Allah wa ni'mal wakil." Allah is enough for me, and He is the best guardian. Let this become your shield against the emptiness the dunya created. 7. Surround yourself with reminders. The heart is influenced by its environment. Read Quran regularly. Listen to authentic Islamic reminders. Keep company with those who love Allah. Avoid constant exposure to distractions that pull you away from Allah. You cannot heal a starving heart in a toxic environment. You need spiritual nourishment all around you. 8. Commit to consistency, not perfection. This journey is not instant. Your heart may drift again. Your soul may hunger once more. And that's okay. The key is returning quickly, sincerely, and consistently. Small daily actions accumulate into transformation. Ibn al-Qayyim said, "The heart is like a garden. It grows what you water. Water it with zikr, prayer, reflection, and love for Allah, and it will bloom again." The transformation you can expect. Peace will return, slowly but surely. Restlessness will fade. Decisions will feel lighter. Gratitude will fill your chest.
The emptiness will be replaced with longing, but this longing is beautiful, the longing for Allah. And one day, you will look back at the emptiness you once felt and realize it was Allah's mercy guiding you home. There comes a moment, quiet, almost invisible, when the heart finally surrenders, not to the dunya, not to people, not to pressure, but to Allah. And the heart, exhausted from the weight of the dunya, finally turns back to the one who never left. This return is not loud, it's not dramatic. Sometimes it's just a tear, a whisper, a single sujda after months of distance. But that moment, that one quiet return,
is more beloved to Allah than you can imagine. Ibn al-Qayyim said, Allah rejoices at the return of His servant more than the lost soul rejoices at finding its way home. Imagine that. The Lord of the worlds, the one who created galaxies and oceans, is happy because you took one step back toward Him. Not because you became perfect, not because you changed everything overnight, but because your heart turned, even a little, even trembling. And when you turn even a fraction toward Allah, He runs to you with mercy. The emptiness begins to lift. The heaviness slowly dissolves. You start tasting sweetness in Quran again. You feel peace in sujood again. Your chest softens. Your eyes tear. Your soul breathes. Because the heart has finally gone back to the one it was created for. Allah never wanted to punish you. You were never too far. You were never too sinful. You were never too broken. You were never too lost. The emptiness you felt was not abandonment. It was an invitation. The restlessness was not rejection. It was a reminder. The sadness was not punishment. It was a message from Allah. Come back. And when you do, you will realize something profound. Everything you were chasing in the dunya, peace, happiness, fulfillment, meaning, was waiting for you in Allah all along. The dunya was never enough because it was never meant to be. Your heart didn't fail. It was signaling. Your soul didn't break. It was waking up. And now that you know the truth, now that you felt the difference between dunya filling and Allah filling, you will never want to go back to the emptiness again. Don't ignore this pull. Don't numb it with distractions. Don't silence it. Allah is calling you. Softly, mercifully, repeatedly. Because He loves you enough to not let you destroy yourself. So today, in the quiet moment when this video ends, do one thing. Just one thing. Place your head in sujood and say from the depths of your soul, Ya Allah, I am coming back. You don't need to be ready. You just need to be willing. Allah will do the rest. Ya Allah, the turner of hearts, the one who sees what we hide and what we carry, we come to you with hearts tired of the struggles of this dunya, souls thirsty for your mercy, and eyes longing for your light. Ya Allah, heal every heart listening to this. Remove the emptiness inside them. Replace their restlessness with tranquility. Replace their fear with tawakkul. Replace their sadness with sweetness of iman. Ya Allah, bring them back to you in the most beautiful way. Fill their chests with peace, their days with guidance, their nights with forgiveness. Protect them from the distractions of this world. Strengthen their faith. Make Quran their companion. Make Salah their comfort. Make dhikr their nourishment. And Ya Allah, when they feel lost, when their hearts ache, when the dunya overwhelms them, hold them, guide them, pull them back with your mercy. For you are As-Salam, the source of peace, and you are Ar-Rahman, the source of all mercy. Ya Allah, let every heart listening to this return to you before their final breath. Ameen.